What's up, everybody? Welcome to New Haunt Order. This is Matt Scott alongside Jim Jam. Everybody, welcome to New Haunt Order. We are back. It's been a while, but we're back. We all kind of had a lot of life going on, so we took a little bit of breaks. But we're back. Tonight we got Bill Aichast from Malice Haunted Attraction. And just give us a little quick background on your haunt. Where are you at and what's the show like?
So we're based in Lewisburg, Tennessee, which is southern middle Tennessee. We're about the halfway point between Nashville and the Alabama border. And this is going on our 5th year, I believe. The first 2 years, we operated on a half-acre of land in a residential neighborhood behind a house, and we were able to squeeze a 45-minute haunt out of that. And then we ended up buying 17 acres of woods just on the outskirts of town. So now we've got 17 acres at our disposal and going on our 3rd year of what we consider being at the pro level, where we're able to offer a better show and run a full 8 weeks a season and all that good stuff. So that's where we're at.
Very cool. I know I got the opportunity to come check your show out earlier this year. It wasn't, haunt ready, obviously, but you got to kind of walk around and see the general layout of how your show runs, and I was really impressed. I know I really like the fact that you're out in the boonies to get to your show, which really adds to the atmosphere, I think.
Yeah. We when we were looking for the land, one of our criteria was no more than 2 turns off of a state road, just for ease of sign placement and for the customers to be able to find us. Based off landmarks somewhere, just not that they're making a left and a right over the railroad tracks, left at the Red Barn, that whole run. So we lucked out with finding this, and since you've been out there, you would recognize the front of the place. That's been where we've been spending most of our time here before we get our haunt area build going, is working in the parking lot, the midway, and all that. So it's been been a rough spring.
I should rephrase it. I said it's out in the boonies, but like I said, it's only 2 turns, but they're long stretches of road to get to the show.
Yeah, and it's pretty creepy at night too, because the houses are all set kind of far back. There's no street lights. The road's a little twisty turny, and we're actually on a dead end road. So as soon as you make that last turn, there's a big dead end sign. You go up this. It's probably a 1/4 mile long hill. You can't see over the hill until right at the crest is when you're on our property. So it's a pretty good entrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking.
That's always one of the things I enjoy is, do I feel like I'm going somewhere where I'm not going to return when I'm going to a haunt?
Yeah, we like to leave the mystery.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. Hell, if they for some reason decide to not have a haunt season, you should have it open for friends and family at least one weekend.
Oh, we will. There's no way our actors would settle for not being able to open. There's just no. Last year we had to close the busiest weekend because of weather, and I never gotten so chewed out by my actors before than saying we called the show.
They probably said, "We'll act in the rain. It don't matter."
Oh yeah, no, they were down to, but there were already a couple of them that were sick, and the last thing we wanted was to make everyone sick for the last 2 weekends. Which there were a couple other haunts that did open up in the area, and they did suffer. Their actors did get sick from opening up that weekend, and it just wasn't as enjoyable the rest. So we didn't want to make the call, but it's one of those things you just kind of have to weigh the pros and cons out. And when it comes to it, the well-being of them is most important. So
we made up for it,
though.
If you don't have any actors in your show really suffers.
Oh yeah, and that's what time and time again the people who come through. That's our biggest thing we have going for us. They say is the quality of our actors. So that's we keep them at the top of the pedestal.
Awesome.
Do you, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just saying that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was going to ask too, real quick before we get into the questions or any more. Do you act in your haunt as well?
Yes, I'm actually line entertainment. The first 2 years, I had carried my character over from another haunt that I had helped manage, and I was in a door maze scene. But being one of the owners, there was never a time I was in my scene on time, and if something broke, I had to leave my scene in costume, in makeup, and go tend to it. So that wasn't terrible on a half acre of land. That's kind of difficult when there's, of the 17 acres, we're using about 7 of it, but 7 acres of land is a lot to cover. So I just upped my position to the midway, with the queue line. That way I can be in the woods, literally up until that first ticket is sold, and then come up, do my thing. If there's a problem, I can either direct someone to fix it, what needs to be done, or I can just go take care of it. Both me and my partner, I deal with all the customers coming in. He sits by the exit, and the lines go right next to each other. So I talk to every person coming in. He talks to every person coming out. And if there's any issues or anything, everyone deals with us directly. And we like to keep it very personal. Even in character, more often than not, I mention that I'm an owner there. And that's just to make sure people are having a good time.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's important to be present and be present minded as an owner. You're not just there to, see the dollar signs coming through your door. You're there because you care about the product.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. You've listened to, you said some of the episodes or bits and pieces here and there, but I'll give you the rundown of how the show works for maybe people who haven't heard how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a series of 6 questions. It's not a very long question process. There's 6 questions we ask every guest. They're the same 6 questions every time, because we like to see how haunt owners and managers are similar on certain viewpoints and how they differ on certain viewpoints. Because in my opinion, I think seeing how different people run their different shows benefits everyone, because you can see what works for this type of a show, what doesn't work for this type of a show, or maybe you can hear a solution someone came up with that you've been racking your brain trying to figure out.
Yep.
So the first question we start with is always one that I find interesting to see the variance in, and that's, how did you get your start in the haunted attraction industry?
So I'll preface that with how I got interested in Halloween. Growing up in the middle of Chicago in the Lakeview area, trick-or-treating was huge in the 90s. And we always, our block always decorated like to the hilt. And my mom decorated the house to the hilt. So I was brought up trick-or-treating, old school, knocking on doors. I'd say by the time I reached the age of being able to do stuff on my own, I'd say, somewhere around 12 or 10, 12, somewhere in there, I got to decorate the front yard. So I always wanted to go over the top. I wanted the cool effects. I had the fog machine, which I still have my first fog machine, by the way, which is going on 20 years old now.
Nice.
Wow.
The yard was always done up good. And then my freshman year of high school, sitting there, and it was the first week, they said, before you graduate, you have to have 40 hours of community service. And everyone's like, oh crap, community service. No kid wants to do that. So they hand out the sheets of things you can do, and it's, helping at the animal shelter, soup kitchens, volunteering at park districts. And one thing on there was to volunteer at a haunted trail that was run by one of the park districts, because the park districts all do it to make money to fund the park. So my freshman year, I volunteered at the Peterson Park Trails of Terror. And in that first year, which I think they ran, it was either 4 or 5 weekends. For my whole high school experience, I was supposed to have 40 hours. that first year, I want to say I had about 80 hours between Friday and Saturdays that I had donated my time to them. And I was hooked from there. I did that every year. Once I graduated, I was in and out a little bit. I volunteered at a couple other haunts. Was involved with Dream Reapers, a little bit with Statesville, Fear City. And then when we moved to Tennessee, when I was 26, which is going on 7 years ago now, I was here maybe 2 months, and I saw an old school hearse parked by the side of the road on this farm. So I called the number that was on there, and the guy said, "No, it's not mine. It's on my land. You know, there's this guy who runs a haunt here," and that's how I got Robbie's phone number, and he's my current partner.
Nice.
So we ended up we managed, or I helped co-manage another haunt in the area for 2 years, and then me and Robbie decided to break off and start our own. So that's where we are now.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I've been doing it for going on 20 years now.
And this is my 14th year in the industry, so I'm a little behind you there.
Well, industry probably I'm probably only in the like higher up industry for about 7. Before that, I was kind of there. I saw a lot of stuff. I learned some stuff, but I wasn't in the upper circle, if you will.
Gotcha.
I didn't know. I'd be a lot farther now.
I didn't realize you were from Chicago area. My wife is from. She was born in Joliet. She lived in Chicago for a while, and then she moved to Manuka, in the Shanahan area.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing how many people from Chicago I've run into in this area.
Yeah, her sister, my sister-in-law, when she went to renew her license this year, she asked if there was anyone left in Illinois. Because they've all moved to Tennessee.
Yeah, just about. Moving anywhere from that town is smart.
Well, yeah, especially, I'm not going to get into it, but watching the news, that ain't the place to be right now.
Oh, it's crazy. Where we lived was right next to the projects that my dad grew up in the 60s. And it is not a pleasant place. I mean, the food's good, but you couldn't pay me to go back there now.
Hell no.
Well, that brings us to our next question, which is, what is your favorite scene that you've ever created?
Ever created? So that would probably be, I'd say it would be our second year would be our door maze. When we had moved down here and I had met Robbie, the haunt that we were working with, my scene that I took on was a door maze. And that's where my character Stitch was developed. And he's half black, half white, split. Eyes and lips are opposite. And the door maze was all the hallways were black, all the doors were white, and the only lights in there were strobe lights. And then Stitch is just a very sarcastic, funny, wise ass. So I'd just be running in circles, and I had a partner at the time, and we were Stitch and Stitch. So where I was black on my left side and white on my right, he was white on his left and black on his right. So there were some people who thought there was only one of us. There were some people who thought there were 4 or 5 of us. We were really good at what we did. And that would be something I would love to do it again at our new location. But the problem therein lies with managing a maze in the middle of a haunt and the issue of bottlenecking, which is something I am huge on, trying to figure out timings and just time schedules for letting groups in, the length of the skits we do, the length of the effects to try to eliminate any sort of bottlenecking, any group from running into another group. So in order to replicate that, it would have to be its own attraction at the front of the haunt, which is something we've talked about, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to jump back into it yet. Running the door maze was fun because I was the one who made sure everyone had a good time. If they thought the haunt sucked coming in there, their opinion was changed by the time they left. And it was just, it was so much fun. We had a lot of little gimmicky things that we did, games that we played, and it was a lot of fun. So that's always probably going to be my favorite. I don't think I can. If we redid it, I don't know if I could top it again.
Very cool. That definitely sounds like it would be a, especially with the two and the opposite look. That definitely seems like it would mess with people with the strobe light.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd convince people that the way to see better is to blink their eyes as fast as the lights are flashing, and there were people who did it.
Did you have people actually blinking their eyes trying to do it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Say, I can't see. Well, you just have to blink, and let's sit there and I mean try and imagine. And there's no way. I'd have them running around. One of my favorite bits. There was this long hallway, and this was at the first haunt that we worked at before we had Malice. And in the hallway, I think there was like 9 doors, and we had an extra door just because we didn't have anywhere to put it. So halfway through the season, I painted in big bold letters "exit" vertically on it. So the maze would be full of like 20 people, and I'd just go walk down the middle of the hallway holding this door with "exit" facing them, saying, "Excuse me, I have to move this." And there were people who were legitimately convinced that where I put that door was how they got out. So here I am in a full-on tuxedo, running with a full-size door down this hall of people with people chasing me, opening doors, going through them, crossing hallways. It was madness. But it was so much fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So how was that scene with the inebriated people?
Well, it was either really fun or we had to get them out. We actually another gimmick we had is we have the little cheap $7 tasers that you get from Amazon.
Yeah.
And, no one expects it, but when you go to point or something, you just give it a quick little zap, and they weren't expecting it, so it startles them. And there was a drunk couple in there, and my partner had done what we always do. I'm standing next to him talking to him. He's standing on the other side. They just figured out there's 2 of us, and he goes and points and zap zap. And this drunk guy turns around. He just tased me. I'm like, no, he didn't. He's like, yes, he did. They actually called the cops on us. So this was great. There was a line of about 200 people waiting to get into the haunt. Cops show up, and these 3 people who called the cops drove there, and they are all drunk off their asses. So we're in the maze doing our thing. 2 cops walk in. Hey, we'd like to talk to you guys. Sure thing. So here we are in our half black, half white get-ups, walking with the cops next to the line. Everyone thought it was hilarious, and they asked for our side of the story, and the drunk people were there, and they're like, you realize you're very intoxicated and you're supposed to be driving out of here, and they just did not get it. So that was the most interesting part. There was never any violence or anything, but it's just like any haunt actor, you always expect to get hit. I can't tell you how many of those doors were slammed in my face. There was actually an imprint of my makeup on my face on a door. My forehead, wow. My nose, and my chin. There was a smile because someone slammed it in my face. So.
Well, you gotta love the general public, right? They're the best.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah, sweet people. That's why they pay first.
Right. Yeah. It always astonishes me how many people think like, I paid my money, I can do what I want. No, that's not how it works.
Not at all. No.
No.
All right. Oh, go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, I was just saying that's pretty funny. Did you take a picture of? We got unlimited minutes apparently.
Yeah, I just got a notification too.
That's why it threw me off. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Okay, yeah. Blink your eyes real fast to keep up with the strobe.
Oh, right. Oh man, you're good.
I can see. So that's your favorite scene that you created. What is a favorite scene of yours from a show that you've been to? Like something that's really stuck out in your mind, or a set piece that was really impressive.
I'm one of the minorities of the horror world. 1, I haven't seen a lot of horror movies, and 2, I have not been to a lot of haunts. I would always rather be creating something than going out. It'll never fail. Every year probably the second to so we open up our haunt the last weekend of September. So second to last weekend, some of the big ones locally are open. Haunted Hell, Nashville Nightmare, and Robbie will always, never fails, the weekend before we open, he'll be like, "Hey, let's go up and let's go to Haunted Hell or let's go to Nashville Nightmare." And I was like, "Well, we open in a week and we still have like 3 weeks worth of work left to do." So he'll end up going and I'll end up staying at work. But there have been a few. The main one that has stuck with me is actually one from my childhood, because I actually didn't used to like haunted houses. I used to hate scary movies. I used to hate clowns. I remember I had to have been 7, maybe 8 years old, and we had gone to, in Chicago, my parents took me to another haunted trail at a park district, and they had this UFO scene. And for some reason, it just always stuck with me. And I wish it was easier to put a UFO scene into a haunt, because I've got a large satellite dish, perfect to be a UFO, but I can't fit it in anywhere at the haunt. It's bothering me. But this scene was so cool. They had, haze coming out of this saucer, and they just had all these blinking lights, and they had these big spotlights that were way up in the trees, and they had them timed to like flip on all at the same time, like straight down, like they were tractor beams. And I mean, this is old school tech. This is 90s tech. These were probably regular spotlights, no LEDs. The fog machines were probably subpar, but I mean, this scene was just awesome, and it scared the crap out of me. And they had costumes and masks, and I mean, they were 90s quality costumes and masks, but to an 8-year-old, it doesn't take much to make that hyper realistic. So that's got to be one of my all-time favorites. Other than that, I would say I got to go through the darkness. I think it was 3 years ago at Transworld. And I would even say it's hard to pick a scene there, just because there is so much detail. If there's detail, that's what I'm most interested in. I want to see, if I can get within 6 inches of something and still be like, wow, trying to figure out, how they made that effect, or, what they used to distress or something like that. That's the kind of stuff that I really enjoy.
Now that you said something about the UFO stuff, I have yet to really see a haunt that I've been to that's done alien stuff. I wonder why. I guess is it that hard to do? I wonder.
I don't necessarily say if it's hard to do, but I mean, for us, and I'm sure this is the problem for a lot of other haunters on the build team, that we come up with these storylines in our head, whether it's for our character or connecting two scenes, and we always want everything to flow. And we've done it every year we've had Malice. We will come up with this storyline where it's, okay, well, this scene, does this, that reflects on this scene, and these two used to know each other, but now they don't. And this doctor was trying to, get all these people to go crazy on purpose so that he could harvest their organs, and this, and we'll put this little Easter egg in this scene so people understand it. And I bet not even 0.5% will gather half of it, the customers going through. But we always try and at least, I guess, make it seem so we know where the whole storyline lies. So I'd say it's harder to have that and be cohesive with the rest of the haunt.
Just the little time you've been talking about it, in my head, I've been thinking like, what's a way that you could tie an alien scene in the haunted house? And the first thing I thought of was so many haunts do a hillbilly scene.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had actually discussed that. But I mean, we actually don't have a hillbilly scene, but we were like, well, it could be crashed into a cabin, and like, yeah, but then how do we fit that? Like, did they just go off the trail from, like this year, the first third of our haunt, we're titling American Gothic. So it's the haunted house, the cemetery, the barn. Okay, so they just come off this like classic horror feel and go like, 100 feet out into the woods to this one random hillbilly scene before they come back in and go to something completely different.
Yeah.
I'd say it's about as easy to fit into the rest of a theme of a haunt as a clown scene, because clowns are always just, I mean, they're clowns. That's what they are. They're to themselves, and you can't really theme them to a lot of other things because they stick out. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
What if you just have like you can build a small UFO and just put it in a tree?
Just
Like, what the
randomly
hell
just
is that?
throw it out there.
Yeah,
I
just
saw
put it
posted when the Hillbilly shot the UFO down.
there.
Yeah, and then
He's like,
when they ask about it, we'll say, what UFO?
I got the son of a bitch.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so those are the scene questions we do, which brings me to my third question in that series is if you had an unlimited budget, no restrictions, no fire marshal restrictions, no building code restrictions, your dream haunted house theme.
Like just the umbrella, like cohesive from start to finish.
If that's your dream would be, or if there's a specific scene or style of scene you really want to do, and you just have no restrictions to do it.
I mean, I love the detail options of the haunted either house or hotel interior. Just the idea of being able to walk down a hall that has wallpaper and then like a bunch of rooms attached to it, I'd say would be something that I strive for. But that could be the same for any, like even a hospital theme, anywhere that was, if it was able to be like an open floor plan and have it instead of a dedicated path, which I'm very particular. I'm very OCD with when we build things and how we plan things. So it would trouble me to know that there were two groups in at one time and they could meet. So it would have to be spaced out accordingly. But just to have it be wide open, here's the entrance. You go in, see when you come out, and just have it be literally like they're walking through. We actually were trying to buy. There was an abandoned hospital in Fayetteville, Tennessee, that we were trying to buy, and that was one of the ideas. Is hell, let's just have the people roam an entire floor of this, 400,000 square foot complex. Just here you go in and have, actors and scenes stationed and ready to, just improvise in whichever order the people came in. But other than that, after my recent trip to Gatlinburg, I would love to have a mirror maze. And that is expensive. So expensive. But
Yes.
Oh my God. I want to go back just for that. That was the whole trip for me.
They're expensive to build, but once you have one operational, people will just keep paying money to go through because
yeah,
like,
and there's only one path. It's a linear path. That's the beauty of it.
Yep.
But you never know which way you're going.
And
yeah,
Ripley,
the one we went to two. We went to one that was a Ripley's one, and then there was one that was attached to a glow in the dark circus mini golf, and that one took the cake. I mean, by far, that was the coolest thing. That brought me back to like a kid in the '90s being amazed at something. It's not special effects. It's light and mirrors. That's all it is, and it was so cool.
I say I've even all the time I lived up there, I never went through that one because I was usually either working or broke. But I went through the Ripley's one a lot, and when I lived up there, they didn't have the revolving section in the maze.
Okay.
So the first time I came through after I'd left, I'm walking. I'm like, why are their walls moving? This didn't happen before. They
Yeah,
put
those are
doorways and shit.
Yeah, it's too cool of an effect. Yeah, I just can't get over it. I'm trying to think of a way. I mean, I know I talked to the one guy. Actually, he knows you because I had mentioned your name. Because I was asking him questions. I didn't ask his, but I was asking him questions about, how they do the layout and all that. I didn't ask him how much the mirrors cost, but I know that each one is about 3/8 to 1/2 inch thick, and they weigh 250 pounds a piece.
Yep.
And I mean, I bought smaller mirrors and they're not cheap, so I can only imagine how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it takes to make one of those.
I don't even want to think about it.
But I'll dream about it, so that's one that I would definitely do. I would include a mirror maze.
I guess you couldn't put like a a mirror tint on the back of plexiglass and get away with it?
So fun fact, yes you can. I have tried it. It just gets down to the clarity of the plexiglass, and also you have to have lights on the inside to not allow someone to see out of it. Which even so, you could put wood or something behind it to stiffen it up, and then it wouldn't be able to see through. But it's not as clear of a mirror finish. It's sort of got like it's kind of like window tint. It's got like a little bit of a visual shift in it, so it's not 100% crystal clear. I'd say it's probably about 60 to 70%.
Sweet.
But even that, the thing with plastic is it scratches easier than glass. So
Yep.
if you have anyone go through there with keys on them or something like that, if you get a scratch in it, it's going to kill the effect.
Yeah, and I guess it would be a pain to buff it out too, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Which it could be done, but I don't. That's one of those things. I don't know if the juice would be worth the squeeze, because even
Right.
plexiglass, look at a 4x8 sheet of plexiglass. I mean, that's well over $100 right there.
Yeah,
And that mirror film ain't cheap.
So you're not going to be saving very much, and then you got to put the labor into doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you might as well just do mirror then, huh?
I think at that point, yeah. That's what I would say.
I know one of the best mirror illusions I saw work in a haunt was at Netherworld, I think maybe 6 years ago. It's kind of a play on the half man illusion, because you're walking down the hallway and you see a pillar, and it was themed to be like a cave, I think. So it looked like a stalactite, stalagmite kind of meeting. And you're walking, and it just looks like that's one single pillar in the middle of the hallway. But what it is it's a mirror that's reflecting the wall beside you, and there's an actor hiding behind it. So you're walking up, looking directly at where this actor is, and the actor jumps out and scared the shit.
Like, I saw one, and I actually started doing. I saw an effect, and I actually started doing a video. It was one of the last ones I started on the Evil Olive YouTube page before I wasn't able to keep it up anymore. Was to have two mirrors come at a 90-degree angle, and you can have an actor's like head above or something, and look like it's a hanging torso because it's reflecting off a box that they're inside. And that's something I've always wanted to do. It's just I hate the thought of glass around customers. And it's the only mirrors that I find at Goodwill or anywhere they're the cheap like Walmart mirrors, and if they get hit just a little too hard, they crack. So it needs like some really good quality, high density glass for that, just to make sure that everyone stays safe. As you said, there's a lot of people who come through drunk, and the last thing I'd want is them bumping into something and then cutting themselves or anything like that. There's a lot of risk.
Yeah, definitely be no good.
Mm-mm.
That's where the acrylic mirrors are more user friendly and guest friendly, just not budget friendly.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so that kind of ties up the scenes and themes portions of the questions, which leads to our next question: is what's a memory from your time as a haunter that you will always remember, something you'll never forget, no matter how stressful or how exhausting the industry can get, something you'll always cherish and remember?
I want to say it's the people you meet, the other actors. I mean, my business partner. If it wasn't for the love of Halloween and wanting to scare people, I never would have met him, and he's one of my closest friends now. And just everyone that I've met in the industry, it's one of those industries where there's not. I mean, there's bad people everywhere, but I mean, you have to look pretty hard or be pretty firm on something to meet someone at a disagreement. Just everyone's there. I mean, it's all for fun. Everyone wants to have a good time. The actors that we have now, most of them have been with us, at least 3 years, if not more. We have actors come from other haunts to us. We ran, this past year was the first year we did a toy drive. We waived the admission ticket price, and instead you just had to bring a toy. And we donated to a local charity here, all the toys that we had donated. And we put an open call out to guest actors. We had about 25 or 30 actors from other haunts, in the area, in the state. Some from Alabama had come up. and just the nicest people, and they all they didn't show up empty-handed either. All the actors brought toys to donate. It's just there's a lot of good people in the industry, and just you get to make memories with all of them. It's just a real good surrounding. I don't think there's anything else. I would consider the haunt industry as more of hobby related as opposed to professional, because it's you do like building stuff, crafting stuff, makeup, theater, that sort of thing. And I'd say I don't know anything else I could relate to it to be able to have these kind of connections with people that grow.
Very cool. That's definitely the. I mean, we've had people mention, a certain person they work with show or that their show that they really enjoy, but that's the first time anyone's actually mentioned just in general the people you meet, which is always a thing that has stood out to me, because we're all. I always describe it like we're all carnies. We're all gimmick driven people.
Yep.
We're all that same mindset. But when you do make quality connections with people, they tend to be lifelong connections. Every so often, people will have a falling out because that's life. But generally, people that are friends in the haunt industry are friends for 20, 30 plus years.
Yep.
Which is awesome. You don't see that very often, especially in any other industry.
Yeah.
That's always fascinated me.
Yeah. The third year I was at Transworld, which was right after I'd only been doing the Evil Olive Productions thing for I think right around 9 months or so. Guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, you're Bill from Evil Olive?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, I'm Rich Ponder. I run Slaughterhouse near Nashville." I was like, "Oh, cool. You're kind of a big shot." He's like, "Yeah, I really like what you're doing. Get together sometime and talk, and maybe we can come up with something." So I'm like, "All right." So it was kind of slow going, but last year when he ended up coming down one night, we were open, and he had Slaughterhouse closed down because of the weather. He's like, "Man, you guys got an awesome setup here. I think we should do something cool." Like, "All right." We're talking. He's like, "You ever thought about doing a toy drive?" So we had tossed it around, but it's kind of late in the season. Like, "Oh no, we'll figure it out." So with his help, we announced we were doing the toy drive. So he got us extra volunteer actors from Slaughterhouse, and then we hooked up with the guys from Arx Mortis, and they sent people up. We had a couple people from Haunted Hell come down. I think we had one person from Nashville Nightmare, but you guys were open at the same weekend. I think that was the issue. But so they all came out, and since we had done that toy drive, I'd say all of those people and more, they come up to our haunt on the weekends to hang out. We build all weekend, and we're actually planning to do a little July 4th cookout, and all the people from these haunts are coming out to us to just hang out and relax and eat food and swap stories. And I mean, yeah, it's just awesome. The opportunity it gives us to meet people from different areas, and that wasn't every day. Someone from so far away is just going to come and hang out once and that's it. These people
Right.
They just keep coming back around, and we talk about stuff and cross promotion, and everyone's amped up again. But toy drive this year, we're going to do it 2 days, and we expect it to be even better. And then that gives us good rapport with the community too. We met a lot of people in the community because of it. Now we're helping out this charity, and if there's anyone else doing fundraisers or anything, we give tickets away like candy for that, because then it helps them and it just gets our name out there. So I'd say the people that it opens you up to, I definitely say that would be one of the more worthwhile things in it.
Sweet. Yeah, that's the haunt community is for the way a lot of people view haunted house actors, like who aren't in the industry. They're some of the nicest and most genuine people that I've met.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, you never expect it when you're going through on a night they're open.
Yeah, I've met a ton of people in haunts and are really good friends with, like Matt here. Known him for a few years now, and we've blossomed into a podcast.
Yep.
He's also made me a badass mask. I like to say that all the time because I cherish that mask.
Well, I'm glad you do, man. Had a good time sculpting. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. But
All right, so that brings us to our sixth and final question,
Okay.
which is probably out of all of them the one that I enjoy the most when I get answers from it, because they range so far in the gambit, and that is, what is a piece of advice you would give to someone who's either A, looking at getting into the hunt industry in general, who's never done it, or B, somebody who's looking to maybe go from being an actor or a regular, crew member into being a manager or even opening their own attraction?
Okay. Do I have to pick one, or can I do both?
You can do both.
I've always been an overachiever. So for anyone looking to get into it, I can't come up with a reason not to, unless if you really are that reclusive or you don't like having fun, because it gets you out of your normal. I can relate it to growing up. I was very shy. I'm still very shy. I do not like talking to big groups of people. If there's more than 10 people looking at me at once that I do not personally know, it gives me a bit of a panic attack. Don't like talking to strangers, anything like that. When I'm in costume, I'm the complete opposite. Putting that false face on lets me be someone else, which I mean could be both good and bad. But it lets me uh, interact at a different level, and it's actually helped me socially, because now I own another business, a power washing business, and I talk to strangers all day. I have to have sit down talks with people who make way more than I could ever think of making in a year, and convince them on why I'm the best person for the job. And I'd say that being put in that situation has helped me. So anyone looking to get into it, you don't have anything to lose. You're either going to have fun, you'll be able to just work out any little kinks that you have to be able to put yourself in those types of situations, and the people you meet. You meet a lot of great people, and networking is, in my opinion, the best way to get anywhere in life. If you don't, meet people, exchange information, help other people get places based off what they bring to the table, no one's going to do the same for you. So doing anything like that is gonna help you. As far as wanting to start a haunt, you have to make sure, or be a manager. Well, being a manager and starting your own is a little different. Being a manager, like taking on responsibility and being in charge, that's a good thing. If you want to start your own, one, you have to make sure that you really love it, and two, you have to make sure that you do not mind working for free for a very long time. This is going on 6 years now of owning Malice, and I haven't made a dime. Um, I put in countless hours. My partner manages a auto parts store, so he's 5 to 6 days a week, and he's got a wife and kids. I'm self-employed, not married, but I have my own responsibilities, and he every chance he gets to be out there, he is. Any chance I'm not working on my own job, I'm out there. Once it hits middle of August, I'm out there 7 days a week, regardless of what my work schedule is. I pull 90, 100-hour weeks at the haunt, and that's just what has to happen. Owning your own, there's no one to say, well, that's their problem. Everything is your problem. So when it comes to finances, budget, marketing, anything like that, it all falls on you, unless you're able to pay, to be able to micromanage those things. It's a huge responsibility. Definitely don't jump into it. It's not one of those things you can just see, well, it looks like it's a really successful industry. I don't have any experience, so I'm just going to jump in. Definitely work under someone, build your way up, because otherwise it's a huge undertaking, and it is fun, but a lot of people don't see all the work that's in it.
Yep.
Just countless hours in building and running power, running speakers, just sourcing stuff. It's tiring. To be able to to get all that to come together, even having an investor to where you have a little bit of money to go with, it takes up so much time. So I would say to start small, start home haunt, if anything. And if there's other people who have haunts in the area, don't be strangers. Don't try and go behind someone's back. There's haunts that pop up around here, maybe one a year or a new one that opens up in the next town over. Every one of those gets an email from me saying, hey, Bill, I own Malice. Are you interested in cross promotion? Hope you have a good year. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. If you got any problems or anything, don't hesitate. It's not a good industry to have an enemy in.
Yeah.
So
that's what it's a very small industry for as large as it is, and everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Whether they know them personally, they'll know of them, and will know reputations, good and bad.
Yes. And in the end, I mean, we're all here to have fun. That's what it's about. If you can't have fun at the end of the day after it, you're never going to last.
If you're not having fun, you're not going to put in the hours required to do this.
No. That's 100%.
I mean, even just from an actor standpoint, if you're not having fun, you're not going to go through the stuff you have to go through as an actor. You're not going to lose your voice and get punched and kicked and spit on and in some cases vomited on. Unless you shoved
down, complained on. Yeah, we take a lot of abuse in the industry.
Oh yeah.
All right, man.
That's for sure.
We appreciate you coming on and dealing with our 6 questions of doom.
Oh yeah, not a problem. Glad I survived.
Hell yeah. So fingers crossed. The almighty COVID don't take the haunt season from us this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping not. I know we're lucky we're outdoors and we're in the country. I would not want to be in a major metropolitan area right now. Not at all. I think we have a little more leeway with it, but we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and just hope we're able to open up as normal. We're already gonna have to alter a few things just to make sure for accommodation. I don't know, the whole mask thing and hand sanitizer. We'll have to work that in somehow, somewhere, but ultimately it comes down to the customer. So
just
I know.
Just put it in the fogger and fog everybody.
Yeah, I know. When I was at Mysterious Mansion, the actors had to wear masks. I know that. I could not imagine. Yeah, they were, but they incorporated the mask into their costumes. So
okay, I would hope they at least did that.
What'd you say, Matt?
So last time I was there, I saw there's some plague doctor characters and stuff that had to hide their masks.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing I'd want to see is this really high-end $1,200 immortal mask have an N95 surgical mask over it.
Right.
Well, I'm hoping in that kind of situation they probably just go ahead and let them, maybe wear it underneath. Or
I'm surprised Immortal hasn't started marketing theirs with inserts for N95 filters.
There you go. Yeah, our one, my number one guy there, Gunner. He does a lot of stuff with latex. He makes sock masks and stuff. And I told him I would like him to make a mask for my Stitch character that's got my smile on it. And have it look like it was cut off, so it could literally be a face mask. And that way, people say something, I'll be like, well, I've got my face mask. that and the 6 severed children's feet that I'll hang on a rope, so when someone asks me to say 6 feet apart, I can just kind of hold it up and dangle it.
These are 6 feet.
6 feet. Yep.
That's pretty genius right there. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely, you guys. If we're open, you ain't got anything going on, Matt. I know you're busy at Nashville, but Jimmy, you're more than welcome to come out to Malice one night and set up there and hang out with us. And
well, I believe Matt's going to have a little more. I don't know. You got a kid on the way.
Yeah, I'm planning. I'm not working a haunt this year, and I made that call before COVID was ever a thing.
Okay.
I just decided to take this year off because I wanted to go see some shows, and we were planning on getting pregnant, and just so happened we got pregnant in February, which means our baby's due early, like first week of November, and I can't be, in a scene in a haunted house and get a call that my wife went into labor a few days early.
Well, I'm just saying, we do have a hospital scene, and we're big on interaction. So we might be able to make something really cool out of this.
Yeah. Problem is, you'd have to get my wife in the haunted house first.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I always forget that part.
She married the wrong person for her not to be a haunted house fan.
Hell yeah. But yeah, maybe if as long as the baby don't come too soon, maybe Matt and I can come and set up and we can do a podcast from Malice.
Yeah,
something.
that'd be cool. Yeah, do it earlier in the month or something. That way, if it gets close to time, Matt's able to hold up to his obligations. But yeah, we can do an advertising thing for it, and you guys can come out. Maybe do a live audio going through or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out fun to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You just hear me cussing is all you'd hear.
Hey, that's all right. That'll be fun.
Hey, and feel free to have your actors grab because I like to get grabbed because it intensifies the scare for me more.
Okay, I got you.
And
So
we normally don't do that, but we might be able to make an exception.
I'll sign a waiver, whatever. It don't matter to me.
Okay.
You like to be grabbed by haunt actors.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah. What would you call that kink, Matt?
Actor.
You got this.
Actor arousal. I don't know.
Oh hell yeah! Now, Bill, we really appreciate you coming on for real. And yeah, hopefully if we get to 2020 haunt season, at least something good to look forward to.
I was like,
I think everyone.
Even if the haunt isn't open, we'll plan on making a trip down there and see what you guys are gonna do.
If the haunt doesn't open, I guarantee you there will at least be one night where all of my actors, whether I know it or not, are going to be there in costume, scaring themselves in the woods. So if so, I'll just tell them to let you know, and y'all can come down. We can stand 6 feet apart. It'll be fun.
Yes.
We'll have 6 little babies feet between us.
There you go. Yep. See, it works. I do think if any haunts are able to be open, I think this is going to be a really good year because people have been cooped up all summer. They lost their vacations. I think people are wanting to get out and do stuff. And, concerts have been canceled. Festivals have been canceled. People want to get out in public and do things. So I think if we're able to open, I think this is going to be an amazing year, both for owners and for actors. I mean, just the amount of people that should be there, I think it's going to be worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People are looking for an escape from reality because reality sucks right now.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
Yep. All right, again, appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Well, y'all have a good one.
You too.
Hey, man.